and welcome to another beautiful day here in Chile. It is so great to be back with you here on the Gringo Show, where we get to speak and teach English together with great guests. Today on the Gringo Show, we're talking about a profession that is near and dear to my heart. It's a profession that has affected each one of us in some way or another. This profession is teaching. All of us have some sort of a story growing up of a teacher that maybe affected us for good or maybe for bad, hopefully for good in our lives. And that's what we're talking about today. We're going to give real-life scenarios to you to use in your classrooms, in your schools, and we're going to have a whole lot of fun speaking and teaching English here on The Gringo Show. We have a teacher here with us today, and her name is Claudia Lopez. Hello, Miss Claudia.
Good morning, John. How are you today?
¿Por qué estás hablando en inglés?
Because I love English, and I want you to love it too. So answer me, please. How are you today, John?
I'm fine, thank you.
Good. You can come in now.
Thank you. We're going to have a whole lot of fun here on The Gringo Show. I cannot wait for this episode because, of course, we get to speak and teach in English. This is The Gringo Show, only on La Red. I studied in a university to become a teacher. And I became a teacher because I had a great influence growing up. This influence was named Mr. Meyer. Mr. Meyer was a guy who cared about each one of us, and he played sports with us at recess time. He would play basketball, he would play soccer with us. Yes, we even play soccer in the United States, and all these different things, but more importantly, in the classroom, I feel like he cared about each and every one of his students. I feel like each teacher has made some sort of an impact on somebody. For me, this impact made me want to become a teacher as well. And I think for a lot of teachers, they had somebody that was a really great teacher in their lives that pushed them to be a teacher as well. That's something really special about teaching, motivating people to go out and be teachers as well. As a parent, you can, of course, tell if a teacher is good or not so good. And there are two ways that you can really tell if you have a good teacher. The first is the first time that you meet the teacher. And the teacher, you know by their eyes, how they look at you, how they care about you, if they're going to be a great teacher or not for your kid that you love. The second way is when your kids go to that teacher and they have stories that they bring back to the home. Hopefully these stories are really good stories, but the really good teachers don't just teach math and English and important subjects, but they teach you about life. Teachers really replace the parents for a long part of the day. For 5 days a week, you have a different parent that's teaching your kid. They're responsible for your kid. And this could be good and it could be bad. Hopefully it's a good experience for you, but really it's those experiences that teach you about life, the interactions with other people, the raise your hand, be quiet in the classroom. It's how to act in society. Those are the things that you really learn from a classroom that you don't necessarily get a grade for, like math or English or science class, but there's something that you take with you for the rest of your life. I have a very special video that I made for all of you. It's on my YouTube channel, and it's talking about the differences between Chilean schools and schools in the United States. Let's take a look.
Casillero, the Spanish word for lockers. Good morning, guys, and welcome to another beautiful day here in Chile. We are off to school today. It's going to be a great day because we are in Los Cristales today. We go to La Quinta on Wednesdays and Thursdays. So I'm excited to go back to my, well, what feels kind of like home today. And we teach 4 different classes for an hour and a half apiece. It's gonna be great. Let's go. Halfway through the day, things are looking really good. Kids are having fun. I can't believe how much more they know at this school compared to La Quinta. It is impressive. First day of English classes. So far, great success. Okay guys, so I'm at the school right now. I've got a little bit of extra time and I wanted to do a little series about the similarities and differences between the schools here in Chile and the schools in the United States. And remember that these are in general, so yeah, don't get too critical on me. In some schools you're going to have these, some schools you're not. But today's topic is these guys right here. Lockers. I feel like in every movie that comes out from Hollywood in the United States, Disney movie, Hannah Montana, for instance, you're going to have these lockers in all of the hallways in those schools. And typically, that is the case. Before every single class, you have to go to your locker, and you might have 4 minutes or maybe 3 minutes only to grab all of your things in a locker that would be in the hallway here, and then run off to your class. But here, classrooms look just a little bit different than what I was used to growing up. Point number 1. In a classroom in the United States, most of the time, the things around the classroom wouldn't be in Spanish. Point number 2. What does a U have to do with a grape? Shouldn't it go with a G? A map in the United States is probably not this long. But seriously, for each desk here, students bring their backpack and typically put it behind their chair. And they have all of their books. And then they have to bring all of the books home. When I was a student, I would just leave the books at school. Or I would bring the books that I needed back to my house, and I would do my homework at home and bring them back the next day with my homework. Here, they bring everything home. And, well, the books, that's another topic. But anyways, it's a little strange to me that they don't have any lockers here. There are some, and the ones that you saw earlier are actually from the teacher's room where people store their food and important things. But they're only for teachers, not for students. And I feel like in all the movies from the United States, there are lockers.
We're gonna come back and choke.
But that's not always the case. The schools that I actually went to, for the most part, they did not have lockers at all. And so you would take your books, and then there would be a compartment inside of the desk, and then you would put all of your books inside of there. Here, there's some wire piece here, and there's some things under it, but for the most part, you take it home. And I think that's a little bit different. Also, in the United States, we may have had little cubbies or things on the wall that would be made of wood typically, and then just a little storage place to put some binders and notebooks and things like that. But for the most part, you're going to have lockers in the United States. It's just kind of the way it is. And it's a little bit different than what you have here in Chile. I've never seen a locker here, although I've been told that some places have these lockers. For instance, if you're going to gym class and you're in high school, you might get permission to use a locker. There might be other circumstances as well where you might have a locker, and I'm sure, I just can't believe that this wouldn't be the case, that in Santiago, there must be places where there are lockers for students in high school and maybe even in middle school in 5th through 8th grade. But leave it in the comments below. Tell me what you think. Tell me your experiences with schools. I want to do a little series about the similarities and differences between the schools here in Chile and the schools in the United States. Just to give you a little bit of background, I was a teacher for 5 years in the United States. I also grew up in the United States and went to schools until I graduated from university. So I have some experiences with schools, but they do change in different parts of the United States and different schools that are in different states. So this is definitely a generalization. But for the most part, you're not going to have classrooms that have things that are written in Spanish. The maps are going to be a little shorter. And you're not going to have a grape next to a letter U. Also, the lockers are typically in schools in the United States, and that's usually where students keep and store all of their things with a lock, and it's pretty normal.
Being a teacher is something very, very special. No matter where you are in the world, teaching is something that is near and dear to my heart, and I think for a lot of you who are teachers, it's near and dear to your heart as well. To be a teacher, you may not always get paid a lot of money, and you work a lot of hours, and you deal with a lot of different scenarios in a classroom and at recess time. But teachers really have a heart for people. And today on The Gringo Show, we have a teacher with us today, and I'm very excited to welcome her here on The Gringo Show. Her name is Claudia Lopez. Hashtag Más Fuertes con Wrangler. I want to thank our friends at Wrangler Chile for this great look that I'm wearing today, and that you can also find at Mall Costanera Center, Mall Marina de Viña del Mar, Mall Patio Rancagua, Easton Outlet de Temuco, Easton Quilicura, Vivo Maipú, in stores and on their website at www.wrangler.cl. Also, you'll receive a 30% off discount if you order online. Always choose Wrangler for the best style and comfort. More information and all of the latest styles on Instagram at Wrangler Jeans Chile. I am so happy to be back here where we get to talk with our guests. And today our guest is a teacher. And I've wanted to invite a teacher here on the show for a really, really long time. And I cannot wait to talk with Claudia Lopez. Welcome to The Gringo Show.
Thank you.
It's great to have you here.
Thank you so much.
Have you done TV before?
Never.
Okay. Yeah, that's okay.
Never.
That's great.
It's my first time, so a little bit nervous, but it's okay.
You'll be just fine. I remember my first time on TV about a year ago now, and I remember like, don't worry, we've all been there. But you speak English really well.
Yeah, thank you.
How did you learn your English?
It all began when I learned to read, and my grandfather bought me a dictionary.
You learned from a dictionary?
Yes, a small one in a little box.
Oh, just a small one, though.
Yeah, I was like 6 years old. Yeah, and well, then I discovered music, movies, so I started translating songs. And it was like an addiction, I was translating things like every day.
Because it was fun.
Yeah, it was really fun.
So what music do you like the most?
That's a very tough question because I like, I don't know, Slayer, Metallica, Devo, Depeche Mode, The Cure, and what I don't like is reggaeton.
Okay. Oh boy, you got a lot of people screaming at their TVs right now.
Yeah, but
no,
anyway,
that's good.
I prefer music in English. It's just the thing I like.
So you learned from a dictionary, which is crazy to me.
Yes.
I learned Chilean from a dictionary. How to survive the Chilean jungle. That one. Yeah. That's a good one. But you learned from that.
Yes.
So do you think that learning from a dictionary or songs or maybe movies is a better way to learn English than in a classroom?
It's a compliment, you know, because you also need to learn grammar in order to, I don't know, make sentences in the right form. But it's a good help, you know. I mean, you have to train your ear, for example, because you guys have sounds that we don't.
Yeah.
For example, think. When you say think.
It's a very difficult thing to pronounce.
Very difficult.
But for me, R. Very difficult. No. Oh, my goodness. And then you have Ben Brereton with his chacarrero that he said. There are different things when you learn a new language that you just have to practice and try.
But in English, it's terrible because if you can say think, you're going to say think.
Yeah.
And think es hundirse.
Yeah.
Y think
you
es
wash your
pensar.
hands
So,
in the sink.
you know?
Or you think with your brain.
Yes.
Yeah. And sometimes it takes you taking risks and saying these things out loud.
Yes.
And maybe in your house, when you're just in your room by yourself, singing a song in the shower, maybe it's a little easier to practice your pronunciation.
Yeah, because nobody's, telling you, no, that's wrong. No, you don't have to say it like that.
Yep.
I mean, I still remember songs that I thought that I was singing right.
Uh-huh.
And they're in my brain, you know, and the lyrics, I still sing them like very bad, you know.
Oh, I kind of want to know what it is.
I don't remember, and no, I don't have a specific song right now.
Okay. You don't want to share. I get it. Okay.
But it happens.
It's interesting, though, the difference. So I'm a teacher, and I always talk about in the classroom is one part of your learning, but at home is another part of your learning.
Yes.
So you have to do the both things, is what you're trying to say.
Yeah, because if you don't study, I mean, it depends not only on the teacher. Most of the time they say, the teacher is really bad, but it's not like that. You have to practice. If you don't practice,
exactly.
how are you going to learn?
You're not going to learn. It's impossible. And your English is very good from learning from a dictionary and listening to songs and movies. Do you think that, have you ever been to another country before?
No, never.
Never? No other country?
I mean, I went to Spain.
They speak Spanish?
They speak Spanish, and I was like 7, you know, so it doesn't count.
Yep.
But no.
Nowhere else? And do you speak Spanish or English in your house?
Both. We speak Spanglish.
Okay.
Yes.
That must be interesting.
Yeah. And it's fun, you know, because my kids, they speak English, or at least they understand.
Yep.
And that's what they do. My husband is also a teacher in English, so.
Yep. And you help run a business. And this business is teaching as well. So you can go online and you can study. Can you talk to us a little bit about what your family business is?
Due to the COVID-19, we had to make something, you know. So we started a family business. It's
called
like an academy, Academia Integral, www.academiaintegral.cl. And well, the idea is to teach online, at least for now. And we have different things like English, music, guitar lessons.
And do you teach the different subjects in English or in Spanish?
In Spanish, but it depends. I mean, we're open, you know, to...
You can do anything because you speak English, you learned from a dictionary, so I think you know a lot. Very interesting, very interesting, the site. And how is that going? Are there a lot of...
It's a slow process, you know, because it's like a pyme. So we started with this project like 3 or 4 months ago, and now we are just waiting for clients.
Yeah. And so as you are doing this institute, do you think that there are maybe more young people that are getting into English now compared to maybe when you were a kid? Do you think people know English better as a young kid now than they did maybe when they were a young kid when, I don't know, in the 90s or...
I think, when I was like 10, 15 years old, I was the only one with another classmate that I had. We were 2 interested in in learning English.
Yep.
The rest of the class were like, oh no, here it comes, the teacher, and everybody was afraid of her.
Yep.
But I don't know. Nowadays it's different because I don't think that they are interested.
Yep.
In learning.
Learning in general.
It's just that they get it. They get it from the video games.
That's what we were talking about before. Your son loves to learn English, but because of video games, video games are...
the little one, yes.
Yeah.
The little one is, he knows a lot, but just because the video games.
So what does he go around the house saying? Kill him, kill him,
yes.
kill him.
I mean, all day he's speaking, and he speaks in English all day. Hi, in the morning, good morning.
Yeah. Do you think that your kids, after knowing English and Spanish, will have more opportunities in life? Or why do you want your kids to learn 2 languages?
Could be. Mm-hmm. Could be. I mean, I think that learning another language, whatever it is, it could be Chinese nowadays, But I think that knowing another language besides your I don't know how to say that.
Your native language.
Your native language could help to get another job or maybe travel and
It's much easier to travel, especially if you know English. But for me, traveling and knowing Spanish, I can travel through how many countries are in Latin America, and then Spain, and there are so many Spanish speakers.
Yeah.
Even in the United States, California, Miami is almost all Spanish speakers. Yes. I go in a taxi or an Uber, and they all speak Spanish, no English. And it's just a different world. So I think, too, besides all of those things and traveling, that you have to use a different part of your brain. When I learned Spanish, it was really difficult because I had to think differently. I felt like a baby because I had to explain things, not exactly how I wanted to explain it, but using the words that were available to me.
Yes.
It's very difficult.
That's the point. Vocabulary.
Yep. You get a dictionary.
Vocabulary. That's it. Because if you have vocabulary, you can communicate,
Yeah.
And the thing that you say that is like your brain, you have your English and Spanish.
Yep.
For example, in my case, when I speak in English, I'm thinking in Spanish, and all the way around. But every day, I mean, with daily things,
Yep. For me, I'm the same way. And when I think in Spanish, I just think in Spanish. So, for instance, if I'm writing an email to somebody and I'm at my house and I just talked with my wife and we speak English in the house, it's very hard for me to write an email in Spanish because my brain is just in English at that moment. But if I'm talking to somebody in Spanish, I can write an email in Spanish much easier. But that's after 6 years of just living in a Spanish-speaking country.
It's difficult. It's not easy.
No, it's not easy. But I think it's worth it for traveling, for opening your mind to new things and trying to think differently in order to explain something. And I think with a language and moving to another country, it's interesting because you have to know the places. You have to know the culture. For me, I was so confused when I moved here because people were talking about like Chiloé. Oh, Chiloé is so great. What word is that? I've never heard that word in Spanish
before. It's super weird.
No idea.
I guess it was super weird for you.
It really was, yeah. So if you move to another country, I think you have to know the locations, the food, the culture. What is awaso?
Awaso, that's a slang. I mean, it's a slang,
Exactly.
Every country has it, and it's very difficult. Vocabulary again.
Exactly. So with English, do you think that English is promoted enough here in Chile? Do you think that we're doing a good job with the Minister of Education and in schools? What do you think?
I think that today English is basically a business.
That's an interesting way to look at it.
I see it that way. It looks like a business. I mean, it works like a business.
Why do you think that?
Because you don't have the same quality of teachers in private schools than municipales.
Yep. Yeah,
That's
and
the first
some
thing,
English teachers don't speak any English.
No, they don't.
Yep.
There could be maybe exchange. I mean, they should exchange teachers, I mean, you come here and I go to the States and then I learn and you learn. ¿Cachai?
Yep. Yeah.
¿Cachai? ¿Cachai?
Did you catch that? Yeah, I got it.
But that's the thing. I mean, I worked for several years at a professional institute, and there was an exchange. I mean, the people came from abroad, but we didn't go, to the other country to practice or learn things.
Yeah, and people may see you and say, "Oh, but we don't have to go anywhere because she speaks great English." But really,
but I wanted to go.
Yeah, you wanted to go, definitely. But you put in a lot of hard work and listening skills and speaking skills at home, not just in a classroom, in order to.
No, you have to study.
Do that.
I mean, to teach English, you have to study every day. I mean, otherwise you can do it.
Exactly. And this brought you different opportunities too, as an interpreter. You got to do some interpreting. Can you talk to us a little bit about that experience?
Well, I studied interpretation. It's a technical career. It's not like a 6 years. I did it in an institute.
Okay.
And, well, anyway.
Did you arrive at the institute already speaking English?
Yes.
Okay, that probably helps.
But what I learned was how to interpret. That's another thing.
What's the difference? How do you interpret?
Vocabulary is one thing.
Yep.
Then comes grammar.
Yep.
Which is how you make a sentence, structure and everything.
Boring. No, it's good. Yeah.
It's not boring. It depends on the teacher.
No, it's good.
And but when you interpret, you have to separate your brain.
Yep.
And you have to do it fast.
Yep.
Because you have two ways to do it.
Yep.
One is with you are speaking in English and I'm speaking in Spanish, or vice versa.
Yep.
And the other one is when you have more time, it's easier. But when you are alive, it's very difficult.
Yeah,
very difficult to do it.
And I think we touched on something that's really important for English teachers to teach in a classroom, is that you teach grammar, and sometimes we just stop with the grammar, because that's kind of the easy thing to teach. It's very important. You have to know how to structure a sentence, how it all works together. That's very important. But also you have to use it as well. And you maybe try and get your classroom to do conversations together, try and push them to talk with one another in
you have to do
language.
Many things, yes.
Yeah.
You have to do many things, because it's not like, as you say, if I start teaching grammar, only grammar, kids are going to fall asleep, you know. So you have to mix. You have to mix everything.
Exactly. And soon in our Gringo board, I'm going to have us act out a situation so that all of our schools in Chile can have some English, whether it be the director or directora coming and welcoming the students in English, a basic greeting, and then in a classroom, how to say basic things to students that could be useful in a classroom. So I think integrating another language into your daily life is a really big impact, and can make a big impact on the whole entire country if people get on board with it.
Of course, and it depends on the teacher.
It depends.
The teacher,
and the school.
You have to like what you do. I mean, if you're a teacher that you're bored, okay, children, open your book and pay. No, that's boring.
Exactly.
You have to make them act. For example, role plays. Okay, I'm a chef and I'm a waiter and you are the client, and that way you work with vocabulary and you put grammar.
Exactly. The things go all together, and you can really tell when there's a really good teacher when you put all those things together and you get your kids motivated.
Yes.
Maybe there's a special English day at the school where you just get the kids pumped up and jacked up to learn English.
Of course. Look, I've never taught to kids. I just work with adults, which is very more difficult. Yeah. Because here in Chile, people don't speak Spanish. we speak Chilean.
Yeah. Yep.
So
I know.
it's very difficult because they don't know how to conjugate a verb, for example, you know.
Yep.
So how are you going to ask someone to conjugate a verb in English if you can do it in your language?
Your native language. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very, very difficult.
Very difficult.
So if you had a chance to teach kids or adults, which one would you prefer to teach?
Adults.
Adults?
Yes,
Why?
because it's a challenge. I like challenges.
And you think teaching little kids is not a challenge?
It is, but that's a personal thing that I have with children.
Okay. You prefer adults,
yes.
Working with adults.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense to me. I like them both. I love going into a kindergarten room and the kids are so happy and give you hugs and things like that. But after about 5 minutes, I'm like, get off of me.
That's what happens.
It was crazy.
That's what I'm talking about.
I have such a heart for those teachers. And then you go to an adult classroom and it's a totally different dimension.
Yes.
I mean, we talked a little bit earlier about adults. I mean, I'm sure you're a great teacher, but adults and kids, sometimes they get bored and
yes.
they put their head down and they don't have a lot of respect sometimes.
Yes, of course.
So what do you do when a student, an adult, maybe isn't paying attention? For me, for a kid, I just go, pow!
Yeah.
No, I don't do that. No,
I used to do things like that.
Okay.
I used to my hands, in front of their faces, and things like that.
Okay.
Or throw something on them.
I remember when I was a kid in 4th grade, there was a teacher of mine who took an eraser and I had my head down and bow, right on my head.
Yeah, I did that once, but...
Okay. It didn't hurt.
But I didn't hit him. I didn't hit him.
Okay. This was like 25 years ago that happened. And I still remember it like it was yesterday.
Yeah.
And I think the great teachers make fun moments, though. I remember when my teacher, he had one of these reclining chairs, and he leaned back and he fell into a garbage can.
Oh, but that happened to me.
Really?
In a class.
You fell into a garbage can?
Yeah.
Oh,
it was a garbage can there, and I leaned, and the chair broke.
No.
Yes.
Oh, man.
And everybody was laughing, and I was like, I started to act like, oh, I feel really bad. I heard something.
And you felt fine, but you were embarrassed. Yeah, that happens. That's an unfortunate thing that happens.
Yeah.
But I think as a kid, it's so fun. Maybe adult too. You remember that. It gives you a personality in the classroom that's fun and interesting. And you don't always have to be perfect and strict. You can show that you're a human too. Mm-hmm. And I think that's a beautiful thing of teaching.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. I mean, I loved it. While I did it, I loved it. So, and I used to wear dresses, or makeup. And,
oh, sure.
Yeah.
Yep. I think that's a beautiful thing of teaching. And when I taught, I always taught to bring people into your cave. Yes. So I brought a pilot in from Latam who came all the way down to Longaví and came and talked to our kids because all pilots have to learn English. So he came down. It was a great experience and bringing people into the classroom. And then this show is all about doing that too and bringing English to everyone.
Yes.
Piloto, the Spanish word for pilot. Are there even any planes around here? And good morning, and welcome to another beautiful day here in Chile. Today is a special day because there is a pilot.
Direct service to Tucson. Sit back and then 30,000 feet flight attendants Darla and Stacy. We do realize you're currently 61 degrees, no smoking.
That's coming to our school to explain to the kids the importance of learning English and the opportunities that they have if they do learn this English. So I'm excited. I've been in communication with, his name is Roberto, and I think that he's excited to come too. So
off to Longueville to go pick him up because this school has no address. Believe it or not, no address. How's that even possible? But anyways, go to pick him up now. So I should then explain that Roberto has never been to Longueville before. He lives in Santiago. He is Chilean. That is a really loud truck. But he came here 4 hours away just to explain the importance of English to our kids.
It's not Damburger, hamburger.
I'm not saying Dimburger. I said I would like to buy a hamburger.
I would like to buy a hamburger.
I would like to buy the hamburger.
A 4-hour trip. That's 8 hours there and back today, just to talk to the kids about the importance of English. So the speech is over. The kids, I think, are really motivated, and I think most of them want to be pilots now because of the videos and pictures that he showed to us and the experience that he has in flying airplanes all over the world. Really, really cool. So I took Roberto to one of my favorite places that I told you about in the last video, and this is Rio Achi Bueno. Not Archi Bueno, but Achi Bueno. And it's probably the coolest place because, one, you've got this awesome bridge back here, but two, the water is crystal clear. You're out here in the middle of nowhere. But I wanted Roberto to explain why he came. And I know I told you guys that it was something about English, but I want him to tell it from his own eyes of why he came here to Linares and to Longueville today.
First of all, I came here to meet the real Tio John, Uncle John, but also to speak to the children of his school about the importance of English and how important it is to speak English in the modern life when you're an adult, a professional. And also to kind of motivate them. I speak about my profession. I'm a pilot, an airline pilot. I don't fly tomorrow, so no worries. And meet the beautiful sights in here. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and it's really fun because he has the exact same drone that I do. So last time I was with two other guys and we were just like, oh, cool, yeah, this is awesome. And now with him, we're more like glued to our cell phones and looking at the ground and looking at the water through our drones. And it's just been really, really fun. It's been
nerds.
Yeah, we really are nerds. If you meet me in person, you'll understand. I am a nerd. Shoot. I shouldn't say that. So we're about to head back right now, but I just wanted to highlight how amazing it is, not just for me in creating videos and talking to all of you, but also for you to contact me, come here, and not just make this vlog about me, but come here and help other people and show the kids that I teach just how important English is to everyone. If you want to travel anywhere in the world, English seems to be the language, as of right now, that everyone uses to communicate with. He was even talking about, on his airplane, when you have to learn about the airplane, it's all in English. And here in Chile, when you take classes to learn how to fly an airplane, you learn English. You have to learn English. And there's a grade level from 1 to 6. And if you are a 6, then you don't have to take this test anymore. If you are a 5 or below, you take the test every 5 years or so. But how important it is, if you're a pilot, to learn English. Also, if you travel anywhere, it's so important to learn English because it really is the universal language. Most of the food that I get from Leader is also in English. Ranch, pizza. Just kidding. But we're going to head back right now. Just wanted to highlight that and say how cool it is and how amazing YouTube has been to me in creating relationships from around the world. Really, really cool. Let's go.
So when I was in college, I learned from professors that you're supposed to bring people into your cave. And what they meant by that was you are in a classroom and you're in this cave, and typically not many people come in or out besides your students and the same teachers every day. Today, I was blessed to bring somebody into the cave. And even though you can't bring a ton of kids, usually, to another place to experience something different and educational, you can bring somebody else in from another place. Sometimes it's another country, another city, but somebody that is filled with information that kids can learn from that person. So, what a cool thing that Roberto could come in and explain to the kids the importance of English to a class filled with students and young minds that just don't understand fully the importance of English in their lives and the importance it could have for the rest of their lives. So, thank you, Roberto, so much for coming all the way down to Longaví to visit our kids and to teach them the importance of English, specifically to you as a pilot. Really, really, really awesome.
Can we talk a little bit about your thoughts about this Gringo show? Totally different show. Nobody's ever done this in Chile before, of having an all-English show.
Yeah, I told you before, while we were watching TV with my husband and we saw the announcement of your show, and we were like, yes, finally, we have something to watch in English, which is here, made here in Chile.
Exactly, and talking about Chilean things,
yes,
inviting Chileans to be here.
Yeah, it's really nice. Yeah. I appreciate it. Really.
And do you think that maybe in 10 or 15 years that English will be even more prominent or important here in Chile? Or do you think that we'll just kind of keep going like this?
Well, I think it should be.
Yeah.
It should be considered, you know, and improve the language of, the studies of our teachers, so they could travel, I don't know, becas for teachers or things like that, so they can go and study abroad.
Absolutely.
That would be great.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
I agree. Right now, though, we are going to transform this area into a learning classroom.
Okay.
So we're going to go to the Gringo board, and I might just act kind of crazy. So let's go to the Gringo board. Today in our classroom, I want to give every single school something to use during the week and hopefully forever. We here at the Gringo Show are going to transform all of the Chilean schools in the entire country right now. What we're going to do is we are going to act out two scenarios. The first scenario is a directora or director of a school. So a principal, I would say, of a school, and how you welcome them into your school. It's something very basic that all of you can do. So I'm going to act as the kid, the student, and Claudia is the directora, the principal. All right, here we go. Hello, Miss Claudia.
Good morning, John. How are you today?
¿Por qué estás hablando en inglés?
Because I love English, and I want you to love it too. So answer me, please. How are you today, John?
I'm fine, thank you.
Good. You can come in now.
Thank you. And that's it. It's a basic English conversation. All it is, hello, child, John, how are you? And typically, in my experience, the students are going to say, why are you speaking in English? But then you just say, I love English, and how are you? And then they respond, I'm fine, I'm good, I'm tired, they can say anything that they learned in their English class. You don't even have to know exactly what they're saying. You can tell by how they are acting. If I act like I'm probably pretty sad, but if I act happy, I'm going to be happy. So asking your students how they are when they come into the school school, this could transform all of our schools throughout all of Chile. Now, we're going to move to the second scenario where I'm going to be the worst student that you've ever seen in your entire life. All right, let's make the classroom happen. I am now the student. For the first time in many years, I get to be the student here on the Gringo Show. And what I want for all of the teachers, no matter what subject you teach, is to learn a simple thing that you can do in your classroom in English, so that students know that English is important. So we're going to give you one scenario right now that's a little ridiculous, but I think that you've probably seen in a classroom wherever you teach right now. So here we go. Action!
Good morning, children. Today, please, sit quietly, please. Please, John, please. I'm going to ask a question, okay?
Okay.
Answer. This is your turn.
Okay.
So, who's your favorite teacher?
Oh, me! I know.
Okay, but relax.
Oh.
Okay. Now, this is your opportunity to answer this question.
Okay.
But be quiet.
Okay.
Who's your favorite teacher? Oh my God.
Sorry, teacher.
Okay,
Sorry.
have a seat.
Sorry.
Can you answer the question now? Are you going to do it? Okay, who's your favorite teacher?
My favorite teacher is Miss Claudia.
Of course.
Thank you so much. Now, when we leave the classroom, so the first thing that we just learned was students, raise your hand. Put your hand up instead of going crazy like me and screaming. Be quiet, students. Raise your hand. Very simple instruction that no matter what you teach, you can say in English. Be quiet, students. Please raise your hand. Okay, now that part is over. The classroom is done. It's recess time. It's time to play with my friends. So, as a teacher, what do you say to the students when the bell rings?
Okay,
and all the students are ready?
Put your books away, and now it's time for recess. So, have a good weekend.
Excellent.
And have fun.
Okay, and then what I do is I go crazy.
Jump from your chair.
No. You said, students, please put your books away.
Away.
It is time for recess. And you could even say, please leave the classroom quietly.
Quietly.
And hopefully they do it.
Yes, hopefully.
So, we just learned, 1, raise your hand quietly. 2, students, it's recess time. Please put your books away and go out to recess quietly. Excellent job. Thank you so much, Miss Claudia. That was fun.
I was.
And now we get to present to you a very special gift. Are you ready?
No.
Let's go. That was so much fun, and my goodness, I am pretty hot and sweaty after acting like a crazy student. I can't imagine being a crazy student every day and how many calories you must burn. But Claudia, thank you so much for coming on to the Gringo Show today.
You're
I had fun with you.
Oh, me too. It was a really fun moment. Thank you.
And thank you for helping me to teach English to everyone back at home. I hope through this program we've transformed some schools and that we gave something to all the schools that they can use throughout the week and years.
Of course, that's the idea.
And our friends at Arawi Chocolate, they have something very special for you. It's delicious. You're going to love it.
No.
It's Arawi Chocolate.
Thank you.
Absolutely. I hope you enjoy it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. No, thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you for inviting me.
Well, I had so much fun here on the Gringo Show teaching you English and giving you something hopefully useful for you to use in your schools throughout this week and throughout the year. I hope that you enjoyed this special time that we get together where we get to speak and teach English together here on La Red. But unfortunately, our time for this week is up. We'll see you again next week, Saturday night at 7:30 p.m. and also Sunday night at midnight. But for now, goodbye.